Angel and the Flying Dutchman. The Big Show on Kiss 92.
Good morning and welcome to Therapy Tuesday with the one and only award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. It's even better because today is World Mental Health Day and it's Therapy Tuesday.
Yes, and that's why we're talking about our dark spaces.
Yes. So we're gonna challenge all of you today. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Every week
I
must
love
come
a
up.
good challenge.
Oh, that's very worrying, actually. so yes, in line with World Mental Health Day, I think Silver Ribbon has come a 2-day summit. So it's a third global summit for mental health advocates, and it's a lovely, lovely collection of many different people from many different countries. And we have a large number of Singaporeans that are presenting also. So my team and I will be presenting this afternoon, actually. And yeah, so there was like addresses from the UK, I think Dr. Ingrid from South Africa, and there was Dr. Akiyama from Japan. So there were so many interesting things. My mind is in quite a spin, but I will try and share as much as possible today.
So today is World Mental
Mental
Health
Health Day. So
Yes.
is the global summit happening here in Singapore?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's at Marina Square, and they are holding it at PSB Academy. Yes.
Right. Yes.
right,
Nice
okay.
space. That's a great space.
Very
we were
nice
there
space.
a couple of months
Beautiful
ago.
space.
Yeah, it is good.
Oh, what?
Oh, no, I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, I guess not. Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on The Big Show TV. Up next, Sabrina Carpenter. This is Feather.
I was just thinking.
Okay.
Did you put your finger up?
No.
It was your mental finger that
I was
went up.
Mental
just,
figure that went
thinking. World
This
Mental Health
theme
Day.
for World Mental Health Day is mental health is a universal human right.
Yes.
Yeah, which means that all of us are in charge of our mental well-being. And guess what the mental health cost is in Singapore?
What?
What did
$5
it cost?
billion.
No. Thank goodness, not so bad. It's more than 1.7 billion
Wow.
each
Wait, why?
year.
What do you mean it costs that much for our mental
As
health?
in for untreated mental health issues, the productivity drops, the nation suffers in terms. So they put a value to it, and it was about 1.7.
Imagine if everybody in Singapore goes mad, finish. Our economy will go down. Right?
I mean, I think all of us need to focus a lot more on mental health in
For
Singapore.
sure.
Yeah, we definitely
yeah,
don't
yeah.
prioritize it. And I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. We don't. I mean, for myself at least, and I think my sisters as well, we grew up thinking that if we do things for ourselves, it's selfish. I don't know if you guys grew up feeling that way as well, but like not even a place to feel like we could sit in a dark space or call it that. Like we didn't give ourselves enough
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
I feel
as
like
a priority.
that's a very Asian mentality, isn't it? That because there's a whole stigma about being unwell mentally.
No, actually, it's a cross. So Sir Graham Thornycroft. So he's parked at King's College and has a whole string of credentials, which I don't want to bore you with, but he is really awesome, and he talks about the stigma, and he did a survey and he had many different findings. One of it that stood out is discrimination of stigma is worse than the disorder itself, and 80% agreed to it. So we know how it feels or how it can cause somebody to be ill just by the stigma itself.
Yeah.
So how
And
do we get
stigma-
rid of that then? How do we get rid of the stigma?
Well, stigma comes from 4 different categories. So the first one is how you see yourself. So it's the self stigma. how you see yourself. And if you view yourself as a burden, if you view your disorder as a bad thing, you stigmatize yourself. The second one is by association, stigma by association. So, for example, sometimes you have nurses or doctors not wanting to talk about their profession. And we kind of know that because in the past, so I'll take some doctors or nurses in the past, if you worked at Woodbridge Hospital, you might not want to talk about it. It's like, you are from that Xiao Nanking, from that crazy place. And you don't want to talk about it because by association, you're in that space and you don't want to be associated. Or family members, you have a family member that has mental health issues and you just hide that person, which is actually very, very common. I see that in some of the clients that or even parents that I work with, where they do not want to let their friends know about their child or about the disorder. The third one, the third one is the public stigma, which we are trying to educate the public about. And that's the negative attitudes towards those with mental illness. That means the public having those negative perception. And usually fueled by a lot of fear. I think we've talked about it before, people fearing what it is like. I still get people asking me, are autistic people violent, or people with Tourette's violent? And I say, no, they're the sweetest creatures. Okay, they're not creatures, they're the sweetest people. So the public stigma is the third one. The fourth one is structural stigma. And it's how perhaps organizations view mental health issues, because there are some organizations that still view mental health as or mental health issues as a problem for them. Yeah. So those are the
So they
four
pretend to be accepting, but actually deep down inside they are not, is it? For some companies.
They are.
There's a discrimination.
They could be. Yeah. So one of the organizations that I work with, and I won't name who, is a big MNC, but and they put in place something called the Employee Assistance Program, and we realized that we were not getting any calls from that company or traction, because what happens is the employees will call us for appointments. So those that market it, in their environment or in their office spaces, we get calls and the employees will come down and see us for, various issues. But this one particular organization, we got no one. And then when we finally got one person, we found out that
we have to go back on
I
air.
will continue.
Well done, Dr. Jerry.
Yeah, so we can talk about something else and come back on the Big Show TV later and talk about this again. Welcome back to the Big Show and the Big Show TV. It is a Tuesday, and every Tuesday we have Dr. Geraldine Tan with us. She is an award-winning psychologist from the Therapy Room. Today just happens to be World Mental Health Day as well.
That's right.
And I was just mentioning to Jerry about perhaps maybe companies still... some of these companies here in Singapore perhaps are not being open to their, to their employees taking mental wellness days off. And you were saying something just now, Jerry.
Well, we got there because we were talking about stigmas, and one of the final stigmas was structural stigma, which is about corporations not or having a particular outlook on people with mental health, right?
And you're about to reveal the company.
No.
What's the name of
she
this company?
She was not.
Under the Employee Assistant Program. Tell us.
Well, it was just because we were alerted because of the Employee Assistance Program, and it was fed back to us that if anyone were to use the program, they would be deemed as weak. And
Is it not confidential? Like whoever applies to the EAP?
Well, it's as confidential as, it can be confidential, but sometimes you might need to share with your manager or your team lead where you're going, because they come during office hours. Yeah, or they even hesitate to ask the HR whether they have a program or not, because they don't want to be viewed as I'm weak and I need help.
Yeah, I think Singapore still has a very long way to go in terms of doing away with that stigma, because even if it is confidential, let's say each corporation has their own in-house psychologist, right? And she or he is sitting at the end of the hall. If you see anyone walking in that direction, colleagues are still going to be talking, oh, look at where so-and-so is going. They're heading that way, which means they must have a problem. So it's still a long way to go in terms of that stigma being done away with in Singapore, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the company I was working for also had an EAP program, and I actually used it because the company was paying for it, and I was
it in-house?
So it was. We had different branches. So you don't do it during office hours. You do it during your own time. You book it and stuff. My issue was that therapy, as I'm sure Dr. Jerry Tan will back me up on this, but not every therapist is going to work for you. And so the first person that they got me, I did not vibe with. I felt like this person didn't listen to me. It wasn't really trying to communicate with me about what I was going through, which is really what I needed the therapy for. And then I wanted to change, but to make the change, I needed to give him feedback,
Right.
or him or her. I needed to give this particular therapist feedback I said, okay, I'm happy to give feedback as long as it's anonymous, because I want to give feedback on how I feel like it went. But I don't want him to know that it's me, because it's my personal opinion, But they were like, no, we have to tell this person who, and then so of course I was like, so forget it. I'd
I'm not
rather
gonna
just
do it.
I'd rather not do it at all. So, what were you going to say, FD?
No, I look at this and I say, there are companies out there, and I know this for a fact, and it is the stigma. When you say, oh, I have a mental wellness problem, weakness is one area that people think. The other thing is, the minute you say mental wellness problem, the word incapable comes into play straight away without thinking. Incapable is the first word that comes into play.
It's much better now than it was before. But
I think only with companies that have a younger generation
But I don't think
at the
that
top.
anymore.
Only with companies that have a younger generation at the top.
Right. Okay, Jerry, let's continue to talk about this on the Big Show TV, okay?
Sure.
I'm curious to know if you agree with FD or not.
But I just want to add on to what FD said in terms of mental wellness problem. Should we be renaming it and re-looking at it and not saying
No,
problem?
that's what he said, lah.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
people
know.
say that as
I
mental
don't know
wellness problem.
What do they
How
call
do they
it?
how do they qualify it then? Is it a mental wellness problem? Is it a
Issue?
mental wellness issue? Is it a mental wellness condition?
What is it,
What?
Dr. Jerry?
There's so many names, right? And people try to rename it, and that is one of the things that Japan is trying to do. They are trying to change some of the terminology also, and it starts nationwide, also, at least from the medical side, and also in the different organizations where they try to reword certain things.
Yeah, but nobody says problem, lah, Jerry. It's only this problem child over here.
No, I disagree.
Problem.
I disagree.
It could be challenges. We talk about challenges and
He's a
overcoming
challenge.
challenges.
But even the word challenge has a negative connotation because it's something that it's a little bump in your life that you can't get over. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it is a neutral word until we put a meaning to it, right? So I don't know. We can brainstorm. So for those on the socials, you can brainstorm what kind of words we can use, and we can try to have a movement to change some of
that's
the
true.
words, right?
See, you said bump. I'm thinking of a pimple. I had a pimple here.
That's what you thought of?
Yes,
Okay.
That's given him mental wellness
Problems.
issues. Yeah.
Problems. Dr. Jerry, you had like a test
Yes.
for us or something. We're so looking forward to this.
A test?
Challenge. Yeah, you remember she said at the
Yes.
she said
Not
at the
the
start.
test.
I've taken notes already, so I'm ahead of everyone else. Test us.
You must learn that I never test you on whatever
Okay.
material that I give you, right? Okay, so the part of it is also talking about our stories, because we yesterday we had people talking, so experts saying, oh, we must share our stories. And Club Heal, the people from Club Heal, which are really, really brave, they were saying that sharing recovering stories reduces stigma. Okay, it gives meaning to the pain, the trauma, the illness, increases our empathy. It's from the slides that I'm reading off. Builds community, connection, and it continues to inspire and motivate others to act. So, we are going to share our stories. Yay!
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
What is this Club Heal first and foremost?
Yeah.
Club Heal. Oh, heal as in H-E-A-L.
You're
I was
thinking
thinking
the heel of it. Yeah,
H-E-E-L.
same. I thought that
Why would
first.
it be your
Because I was just
foot
massaging
heel?
Jean yesterday, you
Oh.
see. Her back was aching a little bit because, I always ask her to put on her 7-inch heels. So, no, I'm kidding.
Oh
No,
dear.
no, no.
Become a
So it's
really
because of
You're a
intimate
slave driver,
sharing.
aren't you? Oh dear.
Anyways, okay, so it's
so-
not heal as in H-E-E-L. It is H-E-A-L. Okay, Club Heal.
AL. Yes, and they do a lot of outreach work, a lot of community work, and a number of their own staff are also recovering themselves. So ask them their stories. They will be happy to share their stories with you, and they will heal together with you.
Heal the world
Make it a better place.
for you and for me and the anti-human race.
Bloody karaoke.
Y'all done?
You didn't
Yes,
bring your
yes,
mic
yes,
in
yes.
today. Shame,
Yeah,
shame.
it's like,
Oh wait, so there's a test? We're not doing a test?
It's not a test. It's not
No,
a
you're
test.
supposed to tell your
Angel,
story.
Angel, why do you make them think that there
Sorry.
is a test?
Yeah.
It's not a test. In
always
order
Angel, though.
Always.
Mar,
See what I have to work with.
I quiet.
Not
can
who I have
see.
to work with. What?
What I have to work with.
Yes, this pimple.
Okay,
Sorry.
Dr. Jerry, sharing of stories.
Stigma is to brand and to mark, right? It comes from the Latin word. So we are trying to not mark ourselves. Oh, stigmata. So we know stigmata, right? So stigma.
Let me have a look.
So
Oh,
your pimple already is a stigma to you. So anyways, it marks you, it mars you. So let's think of a space that we were in that was a little bit darker that we would like to share. Nothing too heavy. If not, we cannot tie it up on air. Maybe a moment. And usually it's about losses, a loss of health, a loved one, a loss of safety, a loss of physical functioning. You couldn't pee or poo, or loss of a limb, loss of time. So it can be, most of the time is a loss of something that brings you into quite a dark space.
A loss of definition.
Meaning what?
Share.
A loss of definition. When I turned 40, I couldn't define myself. I got lost. I didn't know who I
Midlife
was.
crisis.
I didn't know who I was or where I was going. Because I'd been in this industry for so long and it was same old. I didn't know where I was going. I couldn't define the future. I couldn't define myself. It was dark.
Was I already working with you when
Yeah,
you were
you
40?
Must have been 23 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you imagine? He was 40.
27
I was
years ago.
20.
No, 27 years ago. Were you guys already working together?
No.
Actually,
No,
Not
not
yet.
27.
we started working with each other in 2003. I still remember.
Yeah, no. So it wasn't
not
that.
yet.
But is that a kind of dark place that people will go into? That loss of definition when they don't know who they are and what they're doing and they can't define themselves.
Definitely. And did you talk to someone about it or did you hide it?
I hid it.
FD never talks to anyone about anything.
Yeah,
I hid it because I'm the kind of person I'm not gonna lay my woes on you. You have enough problems of your own.
But I mean, then how do people? For me, I feel like your friends and people that love you, getting you through times like that is what strengthens your relationship. No?
Yeah, it could be, but I find it very hard to. I feel that I burden people if I share that with them.
Then you need to speak to a professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
because that person doesn't know you, they're not going to
And
judge.
you're paying for it.
And you're paying for it, so they need
Yeah.
to be there to speak.
Yeah.
You
know?
should see a psychologist or a psychiatrist sometimes.
Okay, Dr. Jerry, I'll call you.
No. We just so happen to have one.
But that is self-stigma. So whatever you described, where I am a burden, I don't want to burden you. I don't want to share it with you because I think you have enough on your plate. So you're stigmatizing whatever that you have. But what you've just shared, that loss of identity, that crisis, that work crisis or self crisis that you have, you're not alone in it because so many other people may be also encountering that or experiencing it. And only when you start sharing that they realize they are not isolated in that thought or that situation also. So thank you for sharing, FD.
Okay, Jerry. So when I put my hand up like that, okay, let's just
Practice?
Yeah. So when I do that, that means we have like 20 seconds left. Then
Which
if you're saying something, then you can just wrap.
Wrap it up, yeah. And
This
then
is new because every Tuesday now it's all you,
Yeah,
Jerry.
we don't have Nenjo after you. Yeah.
Yes, you can go on till 9 a.m. Oh,
He's
no,
on-
no, no,
he's
no,
on
no.
Mondays.
Okay, hold on. We're going back on the Big Show TV. Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. I love The Big Show TV, you know why? Because people get to see, what we're doing behind
Our
the
emotions
scenes.
as well.
Yeah, we don't have to
Yeah.
keep still. We can walk around the studio and, it's like behind the scenes,
We-
you know
we
what
could,
I mean?
yeah.
I'm just turning around and I'm, what happened to my jacket?
What? I don't know. It fell on the
It
floor,
fell on the
probably.
floor.
Okay. Anyway, good morning, Dr. Geraldine Tan. we are talking about dark spaces because today is World Mental Health Day. As Glenn walks off and looks for his jacket.
No, actually, I'm still here.
Oh, you're still here. Well, no one can see you right now because we're on
Unless
air.
they're watching the Big
Yes.
Show TV and are watching us on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, so FD just shared with us about his self-stigma, turning 40 years old
Yeah.
and losing his sense of definition.
And at that time, he didn't have anybody to talk to, not even his rabbits.
No, I had people to talk to. I didn't talk to them because I felt it would have been a burden to them.
So you didn't have people to talk to. That's what it is
No,
because
the
you
people-
chose not to share.
that doesn't mean I don't have people I could have talked to.
No, yeah, that's why you
I
could
could
have
have,
talked to.
But some of his
I
friends are
chose not to.
goons.
I think you're speaking
Hey,
of yourself.
Please remember that you are counted in my friends group, you know?
that's
yeah,
true.
but y'all didn't know each other back then, so not counted. See, I saved you, Glenn.
Okay, come on. I opened up. Who else?
I mean, but sorry, writing on your story still, FD, I think also as friends, and this is something that I've noticed with my younger friends as well, I think it is really important to constantly remind your friends, hey, I'm here. I can be a safe space for you if that's because when we get into that mode, we obviously I think culturally in Singapore, the first thing is everyone has their stuff. I'm not going to burden them with my stuff on top of it. But for myself, I mean, if I don't have the capacity to help someone, I will tell them when they come to me, it's not me at this point in time. But I love you and I care for you. When I have the capacity, please, I'm here for you.
I think that's a great thing to say to people, but will they turn around and say, I'm going to be there for you as well? Because not
But
a
I
lot of
think-
people reciprocate.
And that
You know?
when you say that, it's kind of like lending money. You don't expect it back.
That's true
You know
as
what I
well,
mean?
yeah,
If you
yeah.
offer yourself to your friends,
can't expect it, yeah.
Your time and your heart. That is just I'm open and I'm available. I have capacity. Talk to me. I got you. So that if anything does ever occur, you never want bad things to happen to your friends, right? The people you love, but you want them to be able to fall back on you if they do. Because I have been in those spaces where I've dealt with it myself because I'm super independent, and I wish that I knew who to call. at those points in time. And so having like me knowing that, I want to make sure that my friends and people I love know when I have capacity, hey, call me. Whether you need me or not, I'm here for you.
You can also call me.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
My office at 67 Paul Mall. And then you can have a shot of whiskey as well.
Hey, Glenn, it's time.
I love those offices. Yeah.
There you go.
I'll look for you later.
So yeah, I think that's something. I don't know, Dr. Geraldine Tan. I feel like that's something that we can do as friends to open up that conversation, especially to maybe our older friends who are not used to sharing. You know, as
FD,
often.
she's talking to you.
No, I'm listening. This is interesting.
You're not used to sharing.
He's
I'm
not.
not,
He is not
yeah.
used to sharing. No.
But also, I suppose is finding your community, because not all your friends understand what you're going through. So that's why we may be a little bit hesitant to share, because they may not understand what your experiences are. So it's important to find those who have similar sort of experience and to band together, because sometimes what is shared with me is that they go to someone and it just goes over their heads. The friends don't understand what they're talking about. Yes, they make the and the ahs, but still it doesn't quite click with the friend. So, it doesn't make sense to them.
And they can be judgmental as well. They'll be like, oh, no, your problem is not that bad. Think about all the other people in the world, and I've got worse problems than you.
Yeah, actually.
People
You should be
people do that.
grateful.
Yeah, you have so much to be grateful for, your family, your job, your this and that,
Yeah.
but it's so much more than just the stuff that people see on the outside and on the surface, right? It's all that deep digging that happens, or that should happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Let's
Who
continue
wants
to talk
go
to
next
Jerry.
with dark places?
Dark places, yes. That's what we're talking about. Dark spaces.
I'll go next.
Okay. Let's do that on The Big Show TV. Up next, Melly, Built to Last on Kiss 92. All right.
Dr. Jerry, just be careful. We can hear the ruffling of your papers.
Yes, very loud.
Yeah.
The mic is so sensitive today.
No ruffling of papers.
Is your mic on the paper? or what?
Is your mic on the
It's just
table?
beside.
No wonder. There you
You
go.
can hear all that, yeah. But that's okay.
Okay, Angel's turn.
Yeah, I wanted to. I mean, I'm looking at all the 4 different stigmas that you listed: the self stigma, by association, public stigma, and structural stigma. And I don't know where mine falls. When my dad got sick last year with his strokes, it was hard for me to. And just thinking about it now makes me want to cry, because I'm unable to connect with him as I used to
Right.
before.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't have that drink with him that he used to enjoy. Oh my God, I can't
Wait,
do it.
I knew it was going to happen.
Okay.
I
Got
have
tissue.
tissue.
Oh, you have tissue. Okay.
I think I have tissue.
Okay.
No, I don't have tissue, but it's okay.
See?
I get it.
Get tissue quick. Tissue patrol.
There. Got it.
We got
Yeah.
tissue.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, we knew how hard, it was for Angel.
Yeah,
but,
we do.
But we didn't know how
There's a
much
lot
to.
of- Yeah, it
Of
was a loss of
communication and
relation-
connection.
Yeah.
And I still don't have that. So I don't see them as much as I used to, because I don't know how to deal with him.
Yeah, and
You know?
it is a loss of relationship, because the relationship that you knew before no longer exists, and you had to relearn, more than decades of connection with your father. Oh, thank you, Angel,
And-
for
and-
being so
and- and-
I didn't know it would come out like that.
If I hug you, it would be
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it won't be.
And this is so hard, because as our parents grow older, chances are, problems will arise.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and sometimes, you're just not prepared for it, and it's very hard, to accept it. Right? For many, many families.
But is that a stigma? Because I said, I was looking at the list. I don't know if it's a stigma.
Well, it doesn't just have to fall into the list. I mean, if you find it difficult to articulate it, it might not be a stigma, but it might be something worth talking about so that someone else understands that there is. So for many caregivers outside, that are listening in, they identify with you, they feel you, they resonate with you, that relationship suddenly shifts. And it's a sudden shift. It's not a gradual shift. It's like, one day that whole relationship seems to have turned topsy-turvy, and you cannot get it back anymore. So sometimes that is even worse than a complete physical loss of the person.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
when you lose
Absolutely.
a person completely, you still preserve the memory. The memory doesn't change at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you suddenly was thrown into a space that you didn't know how to deal with.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm sure in
Depressed.
front of your father, you don't want to look sad. You want
Yeah.
to be you want to be strong
exactly.
and you want to be positive, right?
Yeah.
And I think also when that happens, not only do you have to deal with the change, but you also need to remember to grieve the relationship you did have with him,
Yeah, but because he's still around, I don't want to grieve in that sense.
No,
you know
no,
what
but
I mean? He's
it's like-
still here.
it's-
I should be grateful.
No, yes, but also you know how when friendships change too,
Yeah.
and that's hard, or you have a change of environment, like you change jobs or you change whatever or location, like there is even me leaving LA, like I had a whole 2 years that I grieved that because
Yeah.
in my mind I thought that was my place for the next 10 years or something, and nobody could have predicted COVID or any of that. And so leaving that, I didn't realize, I just felt sad about it, but I didn't realize that I needed to grieve losing
That loss,
an
yeah.
expectation that I thought that I assumed was guaranteed. And I think we always assume that our parents are going to be there the way
Yeah.
that they've been there our whole lives.
And in the same form
Yeah,
and
form.
shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you watch that
Yeah.
change happen, and
Yeah.
no one's prepared for it.
Yes.
No
No one's prepared. Like, I mean, when I lost my father, it's like I thought he was going to live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You-
we
you know,
take that for
kind of
granted.
thing, and then all of a sudden he was gone.
Yeah.
And well,
And that was sudden as well, wasn't it?
It was very
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Anyway.
Angel, you managed to change how you interacted with your father. So what did you do afterwards?
Well, it's still difficult because, when we think about celebrations and all that, he can't have a glass of wine or a drink to celebrate. He can't stand up and have, make the usual jokes that he does. He's just kind of settled in the fact that he's not going to walk again, never going to leave the house without help, so it's difficult. And then for my mom as well, it's her not being able to leave the house thinking he's going to be safe the whole time, even though there's help. So everyone's life has changed. So everyone has lost that life that we
Correct.
knew,
Yeah. And yet you have to move forward and you have to do your thing. You can't
Yeah.
be too sad to the point that it affects
Everybody
your
else. Yeah, of
husband
course,
or
of
your
course, yeah.
colleagues.
Yeah.
So,
Ken,
there's-
you want to have a cry party at the studio? Come on, I do it regularly. Regular cry parties.
Oh my gosh.
Very healthy. I think.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
it's so hard to manage, and I think some people can't seem to manage it.
Some do it better than others.
Yeah.
And some just do it
Well,
badly.
I just think people get really good at hiding it instead of just letting the one good thing that I think the younger generation has got a hold of is letting the emotions just run through. So when you're sad, cry about
Yeah.
it, have a good little cry party, and then you felt the feeling. If you ever feel like you need, like I had a massive cry the other day because I heard my 2-year-old nephew just have, he couldn't communicate what he wanted. He just wailed, and all of us are sitting there at the dinner table going like, this is so annoying. But then I was like, oh, when I got sad, I was sitting in the car, I was like, I'm just gonna yell because I feel
Yeah.
like it'll make you feel better, and it really did make me feel better. And I was like, all right, I'm good. I felt the feeling. I got it out of my system, So is that healthy, or is that a cry for help?
No. So thank you, Angel, for allowing many people to cry and grieve, many caregivers who are feeling what you are feeling, for who have gone through all the changes. it is okay to cry. And you've just held space for all of them to do so. You
Yay.
are so amazing.
Yeah, we'll all cry together.
Yes.
You can turn my camera off now.
FD, you cry also? No?
I do.
FD does. Yeah,
I
for
do.
sure. FD does.
I am a person who believes that you should never, ever hold back a tear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never hold back a tear. Whether I'm happy or whether I'm sad, if I cry, I cry.
Then you cry. Yeah.
That's so nice.
It does not. It does not embarrass me at all.
Yeah.
I cannot cry in front of people.
Yeah.
Oh, as you can see, I have no
Me
problem.
too. No?
I just have a switch that just, as long as people are around, it just, no matter how much I want to, maybe my eyes will like,
Movies and all that?
if I'm
Different.
by myself, I'm okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And even at movies, you won't cry in front of others?
In a movie theater, depends on how dark it is and if the
Oh,
show
so you
is
won't.
in the mid.
Okay.
Yeah, but my mind really calculates if anyone will see me cry because my dad was really, he cannot handle crying, so he'd always just be like, "Wrap it up! I don't want to see that. No crying."
That's hard.
Yeah, so I just don't. I find it very hard to cry. Yeah.
Back on air.
You're so brave.
Oh, thank you. No, I just cry all the time.
That's great though. That's good. Healthy, I think.
Make
Okay,
it, yes.
you're tuned in to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Good morning and welcome once again, Jerry.
Good morning, and we're talking about dark spaces, and the DJs are going to tell us about their dark spaces.
I already did. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm done talking about my dark space.
It's my dark space, man. I can't
Glenn's
think of
next.
anything right now, quite frankly.
Okay.
While you think, let me ask Jerry
My
something.
loss was this past weekend, actually. I lost $50 because Manchester United won. I bet against them.
That could be your dark space. Sure.
Damn
Always his dark space.
it was looking so good. They were about to lose.
That's not his dark space.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
you're not allowed.
Not dark space, huh?
Jerry, when we get into that dark space, as Angel and I have said, we're criers, right? We could be town criers.
Speak for
we get the
yourselves.
job. No, Angel's the
I
same.
have difficulty.
Angel's a crier.
Yeah, I'm a
No, I'm
crier.
saying Angel and myself are criers.
Okay.
How important is it for us to just let those emotions flow, or should we start to reframe things, think differently about it?
Crying is only one way, so our behaviors showcase how we feel, our actions. There's also the cognitive reframing that you're talking about, and yes, yesterday at the summit that was also covered. So crying is permitted, and we also want to pair it with some cognitive reframing because, for example, like Angel, she had a lot of lifestyle changes and she had to deal with it. And earlier you heard me say breathe, and you often hear me say breathe. And one of the steps of reframing is really breathing. So there are 6 steps by Dr. Fatima Latif, and we would know her. I think I better read out
Fatima
a little
Latif.
bit.
Isn't she a prof now?
Yes.
I think she's prof now.
Yes, she is. Oh, yes, she is a prof of many universities, and she was the former MP for Marine Parade GRC, and she has another whole long list of credentials. So she gave 6 steps for reframing. One is creating that conscious awareness of thoughts and being very deliberate with it, which we are doing. 2, breathe. And she's a medical doctor, and she says breathing is good for us because when we have a crisis situation and tension, we stop breathing, and that's, stops, or I'm very distracted now, but that stops a lot.
I'm listening.
of
I'm
our
listening.
Cognitive functioning,
Because you need
then
the
we won't have
oxygen to
clarity.
go to your air,
Yes.
to your brain, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we need oxygen for clarity. We need oxygen for relaxation. So breathe is the second one.
I bet you
and-
Professor Fatima Latif is now taking some yoga and Pilates lessons. I think.
She has
And
a
she's
lot
breathing.
of self-care, yes. Third one is to rationalize, weighing the pros, the cons, what to do about things. Fourth is to build up resources, all sorts of resources, especially I think the emphasis yesterday was about social resources. And we've talked about it many times on the Therapy Tuesdays also. Fifth one is to speak up. So I thought that was very important to speak up and share your decisions, some of your decisions. 6 is eventually to take action, the after action, and also to review whether whatever you've done is suitable. Do we continue? Do we not continue? Because sometimes we do talk to someone. Eventually we do talk to someone, but maybe it's the wrong crowd and we want to shift and talk to someone else or to do something else. Yep, so those are the 6 steps, 6 tips she gave for cognitive reframing yesterday.
Love it. Very
Okay.
good.
Very
So
good.
I feel like
informative.
I need to share my dark space.
Oh dear.
I don't know if we have
Please share.
time for your
We
dark
don't have time
space.
already. Okay, we've got to
yeah.
wrap.
We don't have time.
Oh, but I think I've mentioned that. Okay, that the darkest point was when I told you I had to go and look for a psychiatrist to talk to the psychiatrist after my father
About
passed.
your dad,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I just felt like, I didn't feel at peace. I just felt like I needed to talk to someone about it,
Yeah.
right?
That's good.
And then I went to see
Yes.
the psychiatrist, and after 1 hour, he said, "I don't need to see you anymore. You'll be fine."
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You were just
Clinically-
there for the medication, weren't you?
Yeah, but I didn't take it. He gave it to me anyway.
Okay. You still got it, do you?
I think it's
Okay.
at home. Yes.
Oh, all right.
In the first aid box.
Just in case.
Remember
During
last
emergencies,
week we
break the
talked-
glass.
Okay, very, very quickly, because I know we're almost out of time. Last week, I did say to get to know our emotions. So I will go around and I would like you to think of a feeling, a sensation, okay? So, depression. So, Glenn, depression, how does it feel like? So, depressed, how does it feel like?
It feels depression. It feels heartache.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the in your chest.
Yeah.
Okay. Angel, and how does anxiety taste like?
Oh, bitter.
Let me see. FD, how does disgust sound like?
Disgust.
Yeah, disgust.
Loud.
Like a fart.
very-
Like a
Like
fart.
what? Like what?
It's
Banging or
disgust to me
horn?
is like a bomb exploding.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's loud. It's
A wet fart.
Glenn?
It's destructively loud.
Okay.
Okay.
I can imagine that.
Daphne, what does bored smell like?
Boredom.
Boredom smells like cardboard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh.
I can
You
smell
know
that.
when you know what a cardboard smells like. You know,
when you open boxes and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
exactly. Boredom smells like
Sometimes
cardboard.
a bit smelly.
Stays on your fingers
Yeah.
Sometimes
as well.
it's a little
Yeah.
stinky, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Little,
Yeah.
like sandpaper. But I
Cheyenne,
can,
Cheyenne is here.
Cheyenne,
Yes.
yeah.
what does shame look like?
oh,
Wow.
That's a
big
hard one.
A corner, like the corner of a room.
Oh,
Okay.
Standing
Wow.
it. Go to your
Very
corner right
much.
now.
Dance.
Fast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well
Wow.
done, everyone. Okay,
Yay,
and
we
we are
pass.
out of time.
We are.
Full
yes.
marks, huh? So we scored
Yeah,
full
we
marks.
passed. Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
There's no pass or fail, my dear.
Just love that.
It's just
Yeah.
how it is to us, how
There's
the
no wrong.
emotions are for us. There's no wrong. There's no
It's a
wrong.
pity we have no
because
time.
We all have
Yeah.
Okay, last words, Jerry. We gotta go.
Yes. Okay. So this is something that I came up with because I love pearls. So you know how Bruce Lee always likes to say, "Be water, my friend." So mine is be a pearl, my friend, because a pearl takes a grit of sand with layers of effort, becoming something beautiful, and that's how grit with a capital G comes about. Layers of effort.
Oh, wow. That's really
Good one.
nice. Well done, Dr. Jerry.
Thank you so much,
I'll
Jerry.
see you next week. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. And that was Dr. Geraldine Tan, our award-winning psychologist from the therapy room. Up